Hey friend, welcome to the Get Rooted in Health podcast. I'm Gabby Flater, a faith-led wife, mom of 3, certified nutrition consultant, personal trainer, and passionate about changing lives. I know how frustrating it can be to navigate the health and wellness world. You want to be motivated to prioritize your well-being and wish you were more educated when it comes to cultivating a healthy home. Maybe you're a mom who's completely burnt out and needs a fresh perspective on life, or you're searching for a place to feel seen, heard, and encouraged in a godly manner. No matter if you're doing the dishes, getting your sweat on, or drinking reheated coffee while watching the kids play, there is always an opportunity for growth. If you are ready to finally take action about these desires and are ready to learn, grow, and transform your mind, then you are in the right place. It's time to establish deeper roots so you can enjoy a more fruitful and fulfilling harvest. Let's dig in. Hey friends, welcome back to the Get Rooted in Health podcast. My name is Gabby. So glad that you are here today. Man, we are just enjoying a little bit of this nicer weather that's been coming around. We've got most of our garden planted. I have some zucchini that still needs to get in the ground, so I'm hoping to get that either today or tomorrow. I feel like having 4 children now, I am super sporadic this year with how I'm planting my garden. Like any chance I can get to get out there, I'll plant something and then someone needs me and then 5 other things need to happen. And then I'm like, well, guess that's all I got planted today. So that is what's been happening for the garden. But we got our tomatoes and peppers planted in, and then my next big thing I wanted was our green beans. Those are one of our family's favorites. Love love munching on them raw, but we freeze them because we love steamed green beans for dinner. Like that is one of our favorite go-to vegetables. So we are going to try growing the heck out of them. That is like my garden theme. Grow the heck out of it. Grow the heck out of whatever I can that we love as a family, and try and find ways to make that last us long term. So preserving, it's like going to school to learn all the things, to garden, to harvest, to preserve. It's a lot of work. So if you like that kind of stuff, stick around because chances are I will likely share my takeaways, my experiences, the highs, the lows, what to do, what not to do, what I've done, what you could try, and sometimes it's just different for us all. So I hope that if you are gardening here in the Midwest-ish area that you have gotten your things out or are starting to do so here soon. So because June is rolling around the corner here. We got a couple birthdays coming up for some of my kids, which is going to catch me by surprise because I need to plan a little bit of what I want their days to entail because they're little people and it's fun to celebrate them and make them feel special. So I am looking forward to that. What else is new? I told you guys that we are out of tax season, so that is wonderful. And one of the things that really gets me through that is just knowing how drastically it changes. It goes from like 100 all the way down to 0, like in terms of the time my husband has spent at work and the energy he's giving to that. So he's actually going to be able to have off of work all of the summer on Fridays. The office said that they are going to be closed. So I love that. And I think that is just wonderful for a few months out of the summer when it's slower season and they have busted their butts for, during tax season. So just gives us extra time as family, maybe for some travel and just for, him to go do whatever he wants, that he can have his time too. Or, we kind of ebb and flow. If I have something going on, it works out that he would be around on Friday. So just really looking forward to that and just feeling super blessed by a company that will offer that for their employees. So yes, that is what sometimes just gets me through where I'm like, tax season is so much, but this, it's such a short window of the year, but it feels so long for him and for me in different ways. Obviously, our roles just are very different. And then it changes just like that. So, making the magic happen, right? Work, work, work. So what else? We've got that. We've got summer coming around, planning our calendar. Man, I feel like every weekend in June is filled up. It's crazy. So the other thing I wanted to share is, as I was kind of talking with Alex, my husband, about just like homeschooling, he was like, do you think you'll like, and I've had a couple other people ask me too, like, do you think you'll continue? And I was like, my personality, like, if I've found my rhythm and I've got to roll with it, I'm going to keep going, even if it like isn't as, consistent, because it's summertime and we're going to be outside and we're going to do, play dates or the zoo, or we're going to be on vacation or going to the park more or whatever, or we're in the garden more. Like, that's school to me. Like, that's learning, that's education, that's what homeschooling is. And so, maybe it's a hike and we're learning about things that we see and find on our hike, or I make it more, educational based in a way. And so it might shift a little bit, but I still want to continue. Winston finished up his first full math, I guess, curriculum, if you want to call it that, the first level that we went through, and I'm so proud of him, and it's just so awesome to see his little brain make the connections. And so we finished that up, and I had ordered the next one, and I ordered a like writing, because he's doing really well with his reading, and lately, since he's graduated from his reading lesson book, we've just been reading like any books we can. Like, both of my both grandparents, my mom and my mother-in-law, have given us books for his reading level. He's cruised through all of those. We have him read to us daily, or to his brother and sister, and we use Dr. Seuss books as well. And so like his vocabulary is expanding. We've taught him actually a new game that's a little bit more strategy, and he's taken off with that. So just really capitalizing on where we feel he is showing us that he's ready for more. And I think that's the beauty of homeschooling, is like, oh wow, like he may not have a super huge interest in, say, this subject or this concept, but he is showing complete comprehension in this one area and seems to be advanced. So let's take him to the next level. So it's just super fun to do that, and I look forward to that with my other kids as they're entering into little bits of homeschooling, more my next kid, who's turning 4, Titus. I actually ended up just buying a online PDF thing that I could print off. I found it through an Instagram mom who shared someone else's Instagram handle, who was homeschooling and offered all these different little things. I can link to it if you're interested. And I don't have any like affiliate or like anything. It just I could post what I find, or what I have found for just some printouts. They have some really awesome biblical things as well that they bring into it. Like if you want to learn your letters, they have some Bible verses that start with A, that start with B, that, like kind of things like that, but traceable things, but then just the basic preschool thing. So I printed it all out. I 3-hole punched it, put it in a binder, and Titus has been so excited to be able to have his own school to do with me. Literally 1 or 2 pages a day, could take 10 minutes, and that's it. And we're working just on the basics. Like that's just what I want to cruise through in the summer, and hopefully he'll be able to grasp some more where we could maybe jump into some deeper things come the fall, or winter time. But this is just like letters and tracing them, and what are their sounds, and counting, and shapes and colors. So just real basic things. And we're just going to kind of roll with it and go through that little preschool bundle there. And have Winston do a little bit of math, a little bit of writing, but still continue reading. We're going to be out in the garden. We're going to do hiking. So that is kind of, just my approach to the homeschooling we're doing. And again, it looks so different for everyone, and that is the beauty of it. I love that. So that is kind of where we're at in life right now. Oh, I've been back to working out and running. I am once this episode airs, I will be 10 weeks postpartum. And while I still feel like, wow, I can't catch a breath in my day because it's just from one thing to the next, and it's wonderful. It's just my days fly by. It's just been so great to see the fruits of my hard work and willingness to be consistent with my nutrition and my fitness during pregnancy. This is my fourth one, and I have recovered super well. Like I feel really well, giving myself the grace when I need, an extra day off or just extra sleep, and I'll get to a workout later in the day rather than to start my day, which I'd like to typically do. And yeah, still figuring out how to move my body. Some things like, can I do this now? Does it feel okay? And I kind of take one thing at a time, and I'm like, okay, that felt good. I don't always start super heavy with the weights. I either body weight or super light weights, and then I kind of pick up the intensity based on, my level of fitness that I enjoy. And running for sure. I did so much walking, so much walking postpartum, which is awesome. Walking is amazing. It's great. But running is something that I do love and have a passion for, so I couldn't wait to get back to that. But I told myself that I had to wait at least 8 to 10 weeks. So of course I err on the more lower side of 8 weeks. And so just did a run walk on the treadmill one time. And then I did a slow run with a friend. And I've had to push the stroller a couple times, and it's just great to see the fruits of your labor, like just working on engaging my core, having strong, all my strength training and all the pelvic floor, just engagement that I've learned how to incorporate during exercises, of how to use my core and to lift and hold and engage the pelvic floor muscles as I'm working, where they're not just like loosey-goosey, and therefore then when I'm running, all of a sudden now, oops. Now, not to say that is not to come. I'm still, very much in the beginning stages of my fitness here now, postpartum, a fourth time. A lot that my body's gone through. And even just with one pregnancy, your body shifts so much, and things are still not back. It takes like 6 to 10 weeks for the uterus to like go back to normal, which honestly, I'm not really sure if it ever really goes back to normal because it's literally been stretched out 4 times. Think of like a rubber band. If you've stretched it out and used it so many times, it really can't go back to its original size because it's been stretched out so much. So just things are figuring themselves out, and what the heck can I wear? Because it's just like, I don't even know what my wardrobe looks like anymore. I'm like, well, I have to have nursing apparel, but then like I'm still need like some maternity things, but not really. But yet my hips are still too wide for some of my pants. So yeah, stretchy pants it is. That's where I'm at. And then the whole nursing chest size too is like, okay, what sports bras fit me? All the things. So I'm just super excited to be back in that space of moving my body, doing what I love. It is a therapy. It is a place for me to just check out for a moment and check in with myself and just do something that brings me a sense of purpose and joy and peace. And it allows me just to think. I don't know. And it's different for everybody. I'm not saying that that's what works for everyone, but it does also release happy hormones, so serotonin, all those things. Like, it's just, really life-giving for me, especially when I can get outdoors and do things. The outdoor presence. So that is where we're at. So speaking of working out, that is going to be our topic for today. Sorry for the long-winded intro, but hey, just catching you up on life. And we are going to chat about working out with little people, because like I was just saying, like that is something that I'm passionate about and I love, and I have 4 children and I've had to navigate it, and I've had to lower my expectations and be flexible, and just it's looked different through all the different stages of having children over the last 6 years. And it is something that I think needs to happen for moms, no matter what it is, no matter what kind of fitness or movement, even if it's just getting out for a 30-minute walk, that's perfect. Or you want to do a workout video or get to the gym or whatever it might be. It is so important because our job as moms is so athletic, if you think about it. I mean, we're constantly squatting, we're constantly picking up, we're constantly coming up from the ground from either playing on the floor or changing a diaper. You come up, you get one knee up, so you're in that lunge position, and then you come up to standing. Like, that is a lunge. You're squatting. You're bending over and picking things up. That's a deadlift. You are twisting and turning. You are carrying car seats in one arm and having to balance things on one side. That takes insane upper body and core strength. You are, when you're breastfeeding and nursing, it's just your body's being used. You're hunched over, you're in different positions. And so the best thing is for you to come alongside your body and support it by giving it a little extra attention outside of those everyday physical activities. You need to match those movements with some purposeful, few sets of it, and adding a little bit of resistance so that your body is not prone to be weak, not prone to injury, but that it's strong and that it's getting stronger and that it can handle the demands of the day and the days and the weeks and the months. And not to mention, if you have multiple children, the load that it puts on your body for pregnancy. And so if you can come alongside your body, I think there's just this whole level of working out and fitness for like women, moms. Like you see the people that are like hardcore, all out, I don't know the right word, but then like where's just the basic? Like, I don't want you to think that working out has to be some extreme form of movement or some extreme habit that takes up so much time and energy. But like, it can just be a basic part of your life. Lifting doing a few reps here of this and of this, and focusing on some stretching and some just mindful movements that you're actually able to focus on and strengthen, because then you're going to not have some of the incontinence, the leaking problems. Like, I had some of that. I remember that I went to a fun run with friends, and I don't even know how far postpartum I was. This was after my first or my second. I feel like it was after my second child. And I was wearing these like pink running shorts. And after we finished, like, you end up just kind of getting, you all disperse. So I was running by myself for majority of it. But when I got back, I stood by my car and I called a friend who I knew was done and nearby, over socializing with people, or I texted her and I was like, I can't come over there. I have no extra clothes. I literally soaked my pants. Like, it was uncontrollable feeling going down some of the hills. Like, I peed my pants, and my shorts were pink, and so therefore they were now dark pink in the crotch area. And I was like, I was crying. I felt so humiliated and embarrassed. And I was like, and my friend was like, I have extra clothes in my car. You just come over there and we'll get you changed. So I put on a pair of her shorts so I could finish the evening just socializing for a little bit. But I just felt like super embarrassed by that, and like, whoa, something needs to change and something needs to happen. And why did that happen? Because we need to fix that. So there's just so much that mindful movement and exercise can bring to your motherhood life and just life in general. Even if you're not a mom, like, you need to support your body for every day. And we cannot use the excuse of having children as a reason to not exercise. Like, they should be one of our biggest motivations. One of the biggest. And when they see mom taking time for herself, That's a beautiful thing. And it's okay. You don't need to give to your children 100% of the day. Like, you need that time. And if that looks like you actually just need to get up earlier because your kids need a lot from you, then you get up while they're still sleeping. That would be your motivation. That needs to be, you need to find your why. You need to figure out what the why is, because that's what's going to continue to motivate you to show up. But also, I am a big fan of when your kids get to see you exercise and see you putting in the time and the work, and mom being sweaty and huffing and puffing and saying, tell me I can do it one more time. You know, like asking your kids, like, say, come on, mom, you got this. And they'll say, you got this, mom. Or just a high five in the middle of the workout from one of the kids. Or one of them grabs a weight and stands next to you for 30 seconds and tries to do what you're doing and then runs away. You know, like, there are those things that are just beautiful and so rich when kids see their moms putting in the time and the effort, and you can explain to them why you're doing it, and it'll make sense to them. Mommy is taking care of herself so that she can be stronger for us, so that she can help us more and not have, owies or injuries or whatever, and have more energy and be able to run around and play soccer in the backyard, like anything. I look at it as I want to be able to keep up with my grandkids down the road. I want to be able to do things that are active with them. So not letting the little people in our life take away from a workout, an exercise routine. And so sometimes it does happen when they're sleeping, and those are wonderful and lovely. And sometimes that doesn't happen. So that shouldn't mean that your workout should not ever happen because they're awake. That just means sometimes you utilize the TV. Sometimes you don't. And that's okay. Like, you get to pick. If for your sanity, it really needs to just be here. You have the iPad or you have the TV, 30 to 45 minutes. Great. Here you go. I've done that, definitely, but that is not always my case. So, like, they'll even ask me, like, Mom, can we watch a show? Nope, because we have other things. I have something else going on later today that you probably will get to watch a show for. So you guys can, have your breakfast. You can play puzzles. You can play a game. Like, there are things that I give them ideas for. And so it's not always screen time for them when I am exercising. I have the ability to be able to work out from home. So I do highly recommend just investing in some things, some equipment, a couple sets of dumbbells. You can even get those ones that are like clickable. Like, there's only 2 dumbbells, but you can adjust the weight by like clicking a rotating thing. This sounds so funny as I'm explaining it. I hope you know what I mean. Adjustable weights. There we go. Get there faster, Gabby. Adjustable weights. You can buy those like online, or some stores probably have them too. And those are super helpful if you don't have a lot of space, or you don't want to invest in a whole bunch of just dumbbells and things like that. I got a set from Costco that had like 10 through 30 pounds, and it came with a rack. So we ended up getting that at one point. But Target, I started with like a couple sets from that, like 5s, 8s, and 10s. I remember when those used to feel so hard to use, the 8s and the 10s, like for some moves. And then here I am, I've graduated to some heavier weights. You can get some resistance bands. You can get the little looped ones that go around your legs. Or there are some really like longer ones that are very useful in terms of providing resistance. Are what's the word I'm looking for? They can be used for multiple moves, like so many moves. So, there's a lot of different equipment that you can have, or you can keep it really basic. But it is worth investing in some things. Get yourself a couple resistance bands, a couple sets of weights. I have a bench at home. I've acquired things over the years. I got a Bosu. My husband bought me a Bosu for Christmas, I think. Probably the year we were married. I don't know. I've had that thing for almost 10 years. Excuse me. We've acquired a treadmill that we got from someone who was helping our mom move. We paid like $500 or $800 for it. I don't know. And I still have it 10 years later. Nothing fancy. It's just does the thing. And yeah, if you like to bike, you can get a thing for your bike to be stationary inside when you can't leave the house. People have been really into the Peloton things, but I know that's pricey, so I would never expect everyone to be able to have access to such a thing. So these are things at home. If you don't have a gym that you can get to, or that you can take your kids to so you can go work out, working out at home is a really great option and is so doable. There's so much free content out there, so much you can do with your body weight, and so much you can do with just a couple sets of weights or some resistance bands, and that's it. You don't need the bench, you don't need the BOSU, you don't need, kettlebells and all the things, but you can. It's totally up to you. I've acquired things over the last 10 years, so I didn't buy it all up front. Yeah, it's been a journey, and it's worth investing in if you do stay home with your children, or you want the opportunity to be able to do that at home around your kids. So, like I said, I've had to navigate this now with 4 children, infant, toddler, and a 6-year-old. It's all blended in different ages, and I don't have like a rhythm or a rhyme. Like, I know like the baby's going to have to nurse at some point. So if I have to stop and, if I want to start a workout, but I know she could be on the edge of needing to nurse soon, we'll see how long she can hold out for me. We'll just start it. Or I'll feed the baby prior to the workout, make sure the baby is happy, and go from there. I'll have the baby sometimes in the car seat near me. I'll have it laying on the floor near me as long as I feel she's safe or the baby's safe. I just keep saying she because that's my current baby. Or the baby is sleeping in their crib, in the bassinet, so it all depends. It's very different. The baby could be awake or the baby could be sleeping, or maybe I have to stop and nurse and take a break for a minute and then resume. So I've definitely have had that, and you got the sweaty, bra that you got to lift up and you just do the thing. There have been many times. And, my other children that aren't, nursing or babies, they have so many toys. So it's like, here, start, if it's in the morning and they wake up and they see me, it's like, yeah, I have to be okay with, what, I didn't make breakfast for them. So I'm going to have to be okay with telling them, go in the snack bin and grab a bar or some granola bites. Or if I have muffins, you can always send them muffins. My son is learning how to make breakfast a little bit more and more. So it's like, hey, if you want, make some oatmeal, or, if he wants a bowl of cereal with blueberries, great. You know how to make that. Sourdough toast, sometimes I pause quick, I cut a slice and I tell them, here, toast your bread, get some peanut butter out and you can make yourself toast. So, sometimes I'm like in between the rest periods, I'm running into the kitchen because it's right next to where I work out, cut a quick piece of bread, pull out the toaster and tell them, here, now you can take care of that from here. I don't need to help you anymore. A little snack cup filled with, some snacky things. I found this healthier cereal that is easy for me to give to my almost 2-year-old, and she'll be content. Or have a banana and she'll walk around with it. So sometimes those mornings aren't as like sit down at the table and have breakfast type of routine. And that is okay. So, just lowering expectations, making sure that you have easy food for them to grab if you don't want to have to stop your workout to make them a full-on elaborate breakfast or have whining children. You need to have those things available. So you have muffins, you have things they can heat up. You have a little snack bin that's filled with all things that you approve of. And so they should be able to grab whatever they want just to ease, just to keep them happy for the time being. If this is a workout that you're doing when they are awake or they have just woken up. And my kids now they know what to expect. Sometimes they'll just sit on the couch and read books while I'm in front of me, or they'll, sometimes I'm having to dodge toys that they're throwing or things that are on the ground that I could trip on. So sometimes they are a hazard. I'm like, watch out, I almost hit you with the dumbbell. Oh, and I'm like, okay, where's the other one? I heard her walking, and I'm about to do a reverse lunge, and I don't want to bonk her, and so it's like two workouts in one, because you're constantly monitoring and making sure no one is in the area that you're gonna, bonk them. So it's, or they like steal something that you're using, and you're like, no, I need that back. Like, I'm gonna need that in like 30 seconds, and then you could use it. Like, it's just like a constant. It's definitely not just me zenning out in my workout. It's like working out and navigating, children. So sometimes it's really well. They play really well in the other room and do puzzles or play with their animals or whatever, and while having their snack in the morning. Or other times they're like up in my business and sitting on me, or throwing things around the room, like catch or rolling something, or it's trying to set up a train track, and I'm like, okay, like, let's move it over here because mom needs this space. No, I'm using that spot. No, I'm using that dumbbell. No, you do not stack those dumbbells, because if they fall, that will be a problem. Like, they are not really toys, guys. Like, you can use them and lift with them and try and pick them up, but like, they're not to build towers with, okay? Thank you. So yeah, it's humorous. Sometimes I wish there were people that were a fly on the wall and could just witness, and I swear, every time, it's like whenever I have the toddler that's in the diapers, every time I'm working out is when they decide to poop. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, and then every time they walk past me while I'm like laying on the ground doing something, I get a whiff of it, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, you just decide to do that always when I'm working out. And one time, Juliet, my 2-year-old, she was so cute. I was laying on the floor doing an exercise, and she like comes and wanders over, and she was trying to get one of their like cars that they ride around on the hardwood floor. And she pulls it out and she bonks me with her butt in my head. And she goes, "Oops, sorry, Mom." It was so cute. So it's, you just shimmy around the room, you make room, you move toys. Like, seriously, I'm like just moving toys out of the way sometimes if we didn't get to cleaning up the room that I work out in. So it's quite the circus act, we'll just say. But it is so worth it. It's fun, it's wild, it's crazy. Sometimes it's stressful. I'm not always happy, where I'm like, just give me 10 more minutes. Go ride your scooters outside or go in the other room. Like, just give me 10 minutes. I'm almost done. And you're like, or stop fighting. So yeah, it's not always perfect. Sometimes it's wonderful, and sometimes it's a little more stressful. All depends. And I've definitely stopped and paused a workout to change a diaper. I mean, I did that yesterday because my oldest was like building a fort, and he was like, "Mom, will you change Juliet's diaper? I don't want her in here. She stinks." And I was like, I don't blame you, buddy. She actually made my room where I'm working out stink really bad. So I paused it, changed her diaper, and they were good to go. So, or I've had to run upstairs and go grab someone who woke up, pause the workout, run upstairs, come grab the baby or the toddler and take care of their need for a few minutes and resume. So it's just, I'm just sharing examples, real life, because that's just what it is. It's just how it's happened. So lower your expectations. Know that you're going to have to stop every now and again to manage something. Have snacks available, fruit, whatever. For babies, sometimes in the high chair, when they're able to sit up, and things like that. I've even given them like a spoon with like some nut butter on it, when they're able to have that kind of stuff, like almond butter or peanut butter, little puffs, and I just pull the high chair right over in my workout space, and they can watch me, or they can have a mashed banana or whatever, whatever eating stage they're at. If they're usually okay being content in the high chair, they're not quite at the crawling stage or walking. Again, there's just so many different levels of kid stages that you have to adapt for during, your workouts at home. When I have been on the treadmill, sometimes babies are in the car seat next to me. Sometimes if a kid is woken up early, here, has the iPad, you come sit next to me on the treadmill if you want. Otherwise, it's like, here, watch a show in the living room. If you need me, I'm in the room with, running on the treadmill if you need something. So there is that. I do have, when I teach classes at the Y, I do get a membership for free. And I can put my kids in child watch there, which has gone wonderful all these years that I've done it, 6-7 years. And it's so nice because then I do get to interact with adults, and I do get to go do something I love, and my kids are being taken care of. So, if you have that option to go to a facility and work out that has childcare, like, that is great too. That's such an awesome option, and you should take the time for it. These were more examples of like how to work out at home, and do that kind of a thing. So, like I said, I'm not perfect every time. I get upset. I have to be okay with them running around me. I have to be okay with them playing with my equipment. They're throwing balls that I have to dodge. Sometimes they want to touch my computer. They steal my water all the time. I mean, you guys, can you just imagine this? Can you just picture my life for a minute? Being climbed on, having to hold the hold the baby, while I'm doing a squat because they're crying, or while you're doing a sit-up, or, I don't know, whatever. You're holding the baby just to get it in. It's a beautiful mess. We'll just call it that. It's crazy, but it might seem crazy in the moment, but it's worth it. And it's worth taking time for you. And if you think that it can only happen when your kids aren't around, then you're going to have to really think again, because then your workouts likely will not happen. They can, your kids can be your biggest, like I said, your biggest excuse not to, or your biggest excuse to move your body. And eventually you're going to find a rhythm. It'll get easier. It'll just be normal. It'll become a normalcy in the home. And so, like, it was so sweet. Winston, at one point, after having Estella, and I had resumed maybe a workout or two at some point, 5-6 weeks later, and tried working out a little bit. And he prayed at dinner, and he made this comment, like, sometimes, kids, when they pray, they just talk about their day to God, and it's super cute. And he made a comment about, and Mom getting to work out again. And it just warmed my heart, because he recognizes that is something that Mom needs, that Mom does around the home, and that it's a consistent thing, and that he noticed when it stopped and when it started again. So, like, he just mentioned it in the prayer, and I was just very touched by that. Like, I just thought it was so sweet. And that was just something I wanted to share. So just, eventually it will get easier, and it will be the norm. Something that you've not done, but you're going to incorporate, will always feel hard. But eventually it will become the norm. Okay? And just be prepared for interruptions, for modifying, for pausing. Maybe you got to cut it short one day. And maybe you're just like, you know what? We got to scrap today, or I'm going to have to do it tonight when Dad can watch the kids. So however you want to make it happen, make it happen. But if you're thinking that your only window of time is when you're around your kids or an early morning, then you've got to choose. You got to pick and choose your battles. Choose your heart. When are you going to choose to do it? It's always going to feel hard, right? In the beginning stages. Me, I love it. I gravitate towards it. It's something that I just have implemented into my life. It's a habit that I don't even think twice about. Like, it's something that I have established and I love. I love to do. And you have to choose your heart. It's always going to feel hard to start something new. So I just want to encourage you that it will be worth it. It's going to benefit and pay off for you and for your little people that are watching you. Because, I've pushed kids in strollers. We've gone on walks. They've seen their mom be active. I've gotten them active, and they know how they're just more active kids, and it keeps them healthy, and it keeps them busy and not wanting to be, in front of screens all the time, or sitting on their bums, or just lazy. Like, I don't want to have lazy children. And, I had been pushing, when I go on walks and I have to push the double stroller, and after having our fourth baby here, and I was pushing the stroller with Titus in it, and I don't normally let him but I had the baby on me, like I was wearing her in a wrap, and I had Juliet and Titus, a almost 2 and an almost 4-year-old, in the double stroller going up a hill, and I normally tell him to get out, but I don't think he fell asleep. But maybe he fell, and I was like, fine, just sit. It's fine. Because he was riding a scooter. And he was sitting in the stroller. And I decided I was going to push him up the hill. And I said, see, look at Titus. Mom is so strong because she lifts dumbbells, and I'm able to push you up this hill. This is a lot of weight that I'm carrying and pushing. And because mommy, I'm strong, and you can be strong too. And, just trying to show them and give them examples, like, because I lift dumbbells, I can do this. Even just being able to garden with my kids and do household chores and activities. Like, gardening is no joke. It's a lot. When you need to, like, get the garden dug up and squat down and lean over and plant and weed and haul things. Like, if you're going to put new mulch in or new soil, you got to put it in the wheelbarrow, and you've got to, dump it out. Like, there's so much work that goes into that. And mowing the lawn. I was just mowing the lawn yesterday for a while without the baby on me, and then she was fussy, and so I put her in the carrier and finished mowing a little bit of the lawn while she was on me. Like, talk about, doing it with the kids. Like, she's right there with me, and she fell asleep. So I just want to encourage you, because it can be done, and I think it's so cool just to watch all different styles and methods and formats, and when kids decide to jump in and move with you for like 30 seconds and then run away, or they want to like sit on you or crawl under you when you're doing a plank or whatever. Like, it's fun, because guess what? They're not going to be, 1, 2, 3, 4 for forever. Like, they're going to grow up, and soon enough you're going to have all that time to yourself, and more, right? I have to remind myself that, where I'm like, okay, yeah, I mean, if this is really a journey in the long run, then hey, we're here today, we're showing up, and it's going to be what it's going to be. But in 20 years, I'm going to have probably an empty home, and no one to be frustrated with while I'm working out. So it's just gives you perspective, and I really want women and moms to just really focus on them for a moment, because it is so important for us to be able to serve those in our life. That is a huge calling. And I know that people ask me all the time, I don't know how you have so much energy to do all you do, Gabby. I can tell you it's because of the way that I fuel my body and move my body. And, I try to get the best sleep I can. But again, kids, now I have a baby that wakes up to eat at night, maybe multiple times a night. The energy comes from the desire to move my body and to fuel it with good food. And it has paid off over the years. I don't drink coffee all day. I love coffee. Love it. Sometimes I like to make the extra afternoon cup. But, like, you got to hydrate. You've got to get your, essential minerals and vitamins figured out. You got to eat whole foods. You have to eat enough also. We're also in this world and crazy culture of, like, don't eat too much, ladies. Don't eat too much. You got to eat enough. And moving your body actually will create energy. I always tell my classes, you may hate me now, you may feel tired now, but guess what? An hour later, you're going to feel on top of the world. You're going to feel so good, have so much energy, and it's worth it. So I hope that this was helpful, that it was insightful, that it made you laugh, that it gave you some ideas. I was excited to talk about this one because it's literally it's been my life for the last 6.5 years, navigating working out with kids. So if anything, I also would encourage you just to get a stroller or a double stroller that can be easy to push on walks, because you're going to want it. You're going to want to just get on a walk and have a nice stroller that works and can carry multiple children. You can put babies in a carrier and have them on you too. Drive to a path if you don't have a super well area to go walk. Like, load everybody up and get scooching. Give them snacks in the stroller or in the car, and have it for after. I mean, goodness gracious, what would we do? Moms, we're like, my husband always is like, why do we need all this food? I'm like, you don't even know. Like, Do you understand that these children ask for food all day? And yes, I don't have to feed them every instance they ask for food, but you got to be prepared, right, moms? You grab all you can because it's like life or death with the snack world. Like, I don't think my 2-year-old even knows what a meal is, like breakfast. You want to eat breakfast? No, knack. It's lunchtime. No, knack. I want a knack. Okay, well, it's dinner time. Okay, I want a snack. Yep, snack is every meal. So that's what we're dealing with. So anyway, I hope that you guys are blessed by this. Share this with anyone that you know is in this season of life, and let me know your stories, your crazy stories, what you're showing up for. Tag me in your stories if you screenshot this and share it. Tag the @Get Rooted in Health podcast. You can find me on Instagram, my personal page, Gabby. I think it's gabbygirl.getrootedinhealth. Or something like that. I don't know. You'll find it all in the show notes. I can't even remember my handle. And then, if you could leave a rating and a review on the show, it would mean so much to me, just to hear your feedback and to know, what is serving you guys and how I can show up for you. It would mean so much. It's a free way to support the show. Always trying to give you guys the best content I can, give you the best resources that I've used and would recommend. I never share anything on here that I personally would not use myself, and I wouldn't just share something that I haven't been using and would recommend. Like I would have been doing the thing or using the product, before really sharing it with you guys. So always have your best interest in mind. I want you to live life healthy and well for the long run. We're here for the long run, right? That's what we say here on the podcast. So appreciate you guys. Grateful for you. We'll see you next time.